thank you. How are
I'm
you?
very well. I'm very well. Thank you for
Good.
accepting my
Oh,
invitation.
oh, I know. Take number two.
Trick number two. Yes, exactly. Uh, how was your day?
Yeah, it's not been too bad. It's
Yeah.
been busy because obviously it's International Women's Day, so there's
Yeah.
been
True.
loads of rooms going
True.
on.
True.
Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy day today, but it's
True.
it's good, not too bad.
True. 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 Um, so, for the people who don't know, Victoria is a lifestyle coach. She's a ex MTV celebrity TV star. Correct me if somewhere I'm wrong, okay, Victoria? And she's a certified PT and a nutritional advisor. She's also a Greek Cypriot, which I'm very proud of. And yeah, Victoria, tell us about your story. You were born in Essex.
Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself.
Sure.
So yeah, kind of hit that on the head, Sparrow. So I'm a fitness and a lifestyle coach. I'm also a social media influencer and a TV personality. I featured on MTV's Celeb X on the Beach, which was aired last year. I've also done Celebs Dating back in 2017. I've always grown up in Essex, so I done Miss Universe Essex in 2015, which I won, and then took part in Miss Universe Great Britain the same year and came first runner up. And yeah, Greek Cypriot background as like yourself. But yeah, so now I'm moving more into the mindset side of things, really focusing on wealth and health and nutrition, and just ultimately helping people become the best versions of themselves.
Cool, cool. So tell us about a little bit from where you were born in Essex, right? You weren't born in Greek or in Cyprus.
Yeah, so I've lived here my whole life. So my mum is Greek Cypriot. So obviously my bapu, my granddad, he's Greek, he's Cypriot, and then my dad's side is English. Well, we've got a few bits in us. We've got English, Italian, German. I actually done my DNA test the other day, so I kind of know exactly where I come from, which is really, really exciting now. I'm part Scottish as well. So I think I've got Italian, there's some French, there's some Egyptian in there. So yeah, all round the board really, from all over the world.
Cool, cool. I mean, how was the how was the DNA test? I mean, how you actually kind of the route? How you actually find out the?
Yeah, so it's called Ancestry DNA. And it's weird because I've actually got my cousin Jade, who's sitting in the audience listening, so she'd be interested in this. But it's called Ancestry DNA, and ultimately it's just a DNA cheek swab that you do, and you send it off to the lab results, and I suppose they put it into their database of people that have done the test, and then you come back with exactly what percentage of the world you are from or whereabouts you're from, and it tells you a little bit about your history, and then obviously it gives you hints on who else is in your ancestry, as they like to call it, and it's super, super interesting actually. So it's been nice to find out exactly where I'm from in the world, and where my heritage lies.
I really have to do that test as well because I'm really, really curious to see if I'm 100% Greek or not.
I
Okay,
know. Do you know
okay.
what? I was the same, and I think I'm actually only 10%, or no, it's 18% Greek. I think I'm more German than I am Greek Cypriot, which is very strange and not something I knew.
Okay, okay. So tell us a little bit about when you were a kid. I mean, you were, as I remember, you were working in Abercrombie. Was your first job?
Yes, yes. So my first job, I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch. So I started off as a dancer. So I was a dancer and a model. So for me, it was finding jobs that were flexible enough to allow me to go to my castings and go to auditions and train myself. So I didn't go to university. I went straight from college into the world of work and training and working and trying to be an aspiring performing arts in that industry is quite difficult. So I worked at Abercrombie in a clothing store. I worked at Snog, the frozen yogurt place. I then went on to work at a company called Protein World. So I was in charge of their influencer campaigns from the UK, USA, Canada, America, kind of worldwide. I worked in a design company, PA. So I think I flitted in and out of so many different jobs because I really didn't understand my purpose growing up. I didn't understand where I wanted to be and who I wanted to be. So people used to say to me, "Oh, you can't hold down a job. You go through so many different jobs." And every single job I done was from a different industry. And that was purely because I didn't understand the industry I really wanted to be in. So I didn't really have much direction in my life growing up. I just knew that at that time I loved dancing. I didn't mind the modelling industry. It was very lucrative. And probably if I could have gone back, I wouldn't have changed anything. But it didn't really... It created quite a negative mindset for me, the modelling industry. And it's not something that I probably would necessarily go into now again. Even though I'm much stronger as a person, I still think it comes back to how I felt at the time and how it led me into a bit of a deep dark hole within myself, which is a little bit deep, but it's part of my story, if I'm honest, and part of why I'm here today and where I am today. So yeah, starting up, I was just a girl in London trying to graft her way into the performing arts sector.
Okay, cool, cool. You said about your purpose. Do you right now find your purpose? Do you actually?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am. I do. Do you know what? This was spoken about a little while ago. I feel like at the beginning of last year, before we went into lockdown, here in the UK, I just come off of the show. I thought it was amazing. I was going to all these events. I was working with all these different brands, and then suddenly everything got taken from us. Suddenly we was then in lockdown. COVID was huge. We didn't know what to do. We were stuck in our houses. We was bored, and we couldn't do anything. And I felt like I actually lost my purpose during last year. I didn't really know who I was. I didn't really know the route I wanted to go down. I lost my direction again, and I wasn't focusing on the right things in life. And it wasn't actually until I think Clubhouse came about that I have really started to find my purpose. I've connected with the most incredible individuals. I've found that spark of something that I never knew I had inside me. I have people messaging me all the time now saying how my voice is helping them, and for me that's all I've ever wanted. I've only ever wanted to help people and impact the world. And as much as I love social media, I mean, Instagram, I've got over 53,000 followers on Instagram. I'm verified on Instagram, but the thing is with Instagram is that it is very visual, which is a good thing and a bad thing, but sometimes the visual aspect of it can take away your message. And that's why I've fallen in love with Clubhouse, because it's all about the spoken word. It's about sharing your message through what you have to say rather than what you look like. So for me, I finally found that purpose in a sense that I just want to help as many people ultimately become the best versions of themselves, remove those limiting beliefs, remove any obstacle that may have stopped us from achieving those goals that we set for ourselves on a daily basis. So, yeah, I suppose I've probably found my purpose within the last month, which is very strange. I'm 28 years old. I'm 29 this year, and I never thought it would take me this long to find my purpose in life. But yeah, I suppose we never know what life is going to throw to us.
Yeah, Victoria, we never know because you said you're 29. Other people are 40 and 50 that they didn't have a purpose yet in their life. So I mean, you're quite young. So what I would like to ask you that if when as we slowly go back to normal from at least in fully 2 months, are you think that you're still gonna be fully with Clubhouse, or you might actually do something else since the reality will go back to normal?
I mean, I think with everyone, there's the Clubhouse will slowly drop off to an extent, just purely because even you've seen today, and where children are going back to school now and people starting to go back to work, that time that we could have put into Clubhouse, we're not going to have as much time anymore. So I always say that with Clubhouse, it's about utilising that time wisely, which is why at the moment I'm using it as much as I can, just to be able to grow within the app and create that safe space. And I think that as the clubs as the club gets, as Clubhouse grows, people are growing within the app. I think that I will be putting just as much time into Clubhouse as long as I'm utilising it wisely. However, I still want to get out into the world of the media and TV and media, and that's not necessarily me saying I want to do any more reality TV shows, but I want my message to help as many people as I said before. So if that can be done through TV, through media, through things like presenting, that's definitely something that I want to look into doing. So yeah, who knows what this year is gonna provide for any of us, I suppose. When we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone in 3 months' time.
Yeah, that's true. We can make a plan. We can even book holidays. I mean, it's really weird times that we're living.
Yeah.
Uh, let's go back a little bit to when you were a reality TV star. How you decide to be involved with TV shows and stuff?
So it's actually a very strange story. So I never thought I would get involved in TV ever. And it was, like I said, it was in 2017. And I used to, when I was a dancer, it was alongside, I don't know if you've heard of Diversity, the dance group. So I used to train at their studio. And so I still am very close with all the guys. Tour, and the producers from Celebs Go Dating were there as well. So Perry actually introduced me to them, and we was all speaking, and then they're like, "Oh, we think you should do season 3." And I was like, "No, definitely not. I'm not interested in it." And the next thing I know, I was taking part, and what was meant to be one day of filming turned into about 2 months of filming. And it was a whirlwind. It was amazing. And when it came out, it was the first kind of show I'd ever really done. I loved every part of it. And everyone said, "You come across so well, you should definitely look into doing this further." So I thought, okay, I'll just see. And then because of that show and the people that I dated on that show, that then led to me being asked to do Celebrity X on the Beach. So one show kind of led into the other. And again, with Celeb X, that was more of a reality because it was kind of in the middle of, say, Big Brother and Love Island. So it was a very strange show. It was filming for just over 3 weeks again in Marbella. And it was obviously being filmed 24 hours a day, cameras everywhere, mics on you. So I loved it, and reality was never really something that I'd ever thought of doing. Obviously, coming from Essex, and I've been around reality TV stars my whole life with The Only Way is Essex, and I never thought that would be something I'd ever really be interested in getting into. But I'm one of these people where I kind of take every opportunity if it comes to me, because I never want to be at a stage where I would say, "Oh, what if I'd done that?" And I believe that everything happens for a reason, and you're meant to do everything in life for that reason. So I listen to my gut a lot, and if I feel like I should do something, I'll just do something, and then if it doesn't work out, then it wasn't meant for me.
Cool, cool. Of course, we have to take our chances in front of our life. If, as you say, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You just have to take a chance and try different things in life. And since you're from Essex and you've been surrounding about all these TV stars from. Actually, The Only Way is Essex was my first TV show that I was watching back in Greece before I came in London. So just to get used to the accent, but the Essex accent is kind of different. So it was really, really, really weird.
Difficult. It's different. I mean, everyone says that
Yeah,
I've got a bit of a posh Essex accent.
yeah, exactly.
I'm like in the middle of London and Essex, I suppose.
Yeah. Was any challenges you being, in front of cameras, in front of microphones. I mean, what was your biggest challenge, dealing with, so many people, so many microphones and cameras, and it could be really, really awkward, I assume.
So I suppose my biggest challenge with regards to filming is that comparison and always thinking that you're doing something wrong. So I suppose when you are being filmed 24/7 and there's production companies everywhere, and because obviously there is a production company there, you are still being filmed properly. I think you're constantly overthinking how you're going to be perceived. And I'm very good with my words. I know exactly what I want to say and when I want to say it. And I'm very stubborn. As you know, the Greeks, we're very stubborn people. So you'll never make me do anything I don't
Yeah.
want to do. Never make me say anything I don't want to say. So I knew that I wasn't necessarily going to be manipulated to say things that I wasn't comfortable saying. However, you are always going to be worried about how you are going to be perceived because of the editing process after and how they edit the shows. They can cut bits and pieces and ultimately put them wherever they want without your discretion. So I think that was realistically my only fear whilst filming, was how are they going to perceive me on the outside, and because that's something that you have no control over.
So how did they do the editing?
Yeah.
How did they do? Did they done actually? Did they cut something that you say that was important? And you mean like how they treat you in editing?
No, do you know what? I think I was actually really lucky. They didn't do anything to me that was nasty. I mean, the production company was incredible and the whole show was amazing. I'm actually talking about Celebrity X on the Beach. So MTV were just incredible the whole time, and they really wanted to create a show which was fun and light-hearted. Of course, there's going to be drama in shows. There always is. But they didn't want it to be a show which was full of negativity, because reality TV at the moment has such a perception of being negative because of what has happened as a result of reality TV shows, with regards to a few people that lost their life over the last couple of years and who are in the public eye. So I think reality TV now has a bit of a bad reputation. And with Celebrity X, they wanted to create a show which was just fun and light-hearted and came back to just people telling their stories and just having a bit of fun. So I was actually really lucky. I think there was only one episode where maybe I wasn't too happy with the editing process, but it didn't really spark a huge amount of negativity. And I've got thick skin. I've got super thick skin through being a model, through being a dancer. I'm used to people kind of chopping me down left, right and centre, and I just pick myself back up and carry on. So yeah, I was actually very surprised and overall happy with the response.
Good, that's good. Because I've always, when I'm watching TV stuff, I always have in my mind that it has to be a setup. It has to be a setup. It has to be a script. So that it's not true.
No, it's not actually. Some shows are. Some shows are completely scripted. Our one wasn't scripted. They would set up situations. So, for example, let's say someone was talking about a specific subject naturally in the morning. The producer would then come in and say, okay, could you maybe speak about that again, just so that they could film it properly, and then they may prompt you with certain things that they would maybe want you to add in or say. But no, it wasn't ever really scripted.
Okay.
They're very good with, I would say, manipulating your emotions slightly.
Okay.
But yeah, but no, there's no scripted words, which is actually quite refreshing.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good to hear, because I always have in my mind that it has to be set up. It has to be, but probably some they might do, but at least in your occasion wasn't. So that's good. Tell us about a little bit of how was which was your most challenging job that you
Oh,
ever done?
sorry. Pardon? Sorry, I think I lost you. My
No
internet
worries.
just cut off then.
Which was your most challenging job that you ever done so far? From Abercrombie to a dancer to to Clubhouse? Which was your most?
My most challenging job. Um, challenging job. Being a model, it looks very glamorous from the outside world, and people see you working with different brands and having your makeup done and going on photo shoots. What they don't see is the hours of, because you never think you're good enough when you don't get a job, and you constantly think, why didn't I get that job? Why was that person better than me? Is it because I needed to be slimmer? Is it because I didn't have the right hair color and X? And you beliefs within your mind, and it's really hard to then kind of come away from those limiting beliefs and know your self-worth. And I preach so much now, know your self-worth, you're all amazing, like it doesn't matter, don't compare yourself to anyone else. But I was a lot younger when I was modeling, so I was very perceptible to what people would say and the external situations I found myself in. So even though modeling for me was incredible in a sense that I many people, I had some amazing jobs. I travelled so much. I worked in different countries. I was taken skiing. I went to many different places abroad, and it was amazing. It still didn't give me any satisfaction in life. I didn't come away feeling satisfied that I had made an impact in the world. It was incredibly superficial, and it don't get me wrong, I had to grow as a person because I had to develop that thick skin. But the modeling industry is not as glamorous as it all seems. So I think maybe 6 or 7 years being a model, that was my most challenging time of my life, definitely.
Okay, so modeling. Go back to TV. Would you do that again? Being in
Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I'd love to do TV again. I mean, it's very hard to get into TV now, but if I could choose any shows, I would choose I'm a Celebrity in the Jungle, Get Me Out of Here. I would absolutely love to do the Jungle. Also MasterChef and Bake Off. They're my faves. Like, I absolutely love them. I'm such a cook. Again, a Greek. I love my food. I love cooking. So I would definitely get into TV, but it would be for different reasons this time. And I think now I have such a strong message that I want to put across. I know that through TV and through the media, I'd definitely be able to spread it in a more efficient way.
To be honest, seeing you on your YouTube channel, cooking and making brands and make all these kind of foodie things, which is makes me really really hungry. Actually, most of the times when I'm seeing that is, I really picturing you being like a master chef or something in the kitchen, cooking while the clock counts. So I really wanted to see you like try to cook something like in 20 minutes or in 10 minutes, or it's something that I really really want to see, because I know you have really good ideas when it comes to food and stuff. So it would be something that I think people might count on you in the future. So
Yeah, no, I love it. And I do need to do more of that. I need to find more time to do some foodie filming.
yes, you do. You left
Yeah.
it. um, you spoke about your videos about your cooking and stuff. Really wanted to touch those kind of challenges that you've done, like 10,000 calories challenge. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how you. I mean, in the end, it was like 8,000 or something.
Yeah, so I think I managed to get about 8,500. So if anyone doesn't understand, there
Jesus
was a
Christ.
challenge on YouTube that was trending, and it was called the 10,000 calorie challenge. So it all derived from, as soon as you hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, you would take part in the 10,000 calorie challenge. So you would try and eat 10,000 calories in one day. Now, this is probably one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel, was just so I could do that challenge. And even though I hadn't hit 10,000 subscribers, I still done the challenge just because I wanted to jump on the trend. And it was probably the hardest day I've ever done, trying to eat 10,000 calories in a day. And you think it's easy. I was eating Krispy Kremes, pizzas, Ben and Jerry's, burgers, chips. I went in on the lot and I still didn't hit 10,000 calories.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
even though we know that there's a lot of calories in the food we eat, you'd be surprised at how much you need to eat to hit 10,000 calories.
Like, if someone, like, going to gym and, people want to build muscle, they eat around 2,000 calories a day. So you basically ate 8,000, which means like equals like 4 days at one.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I mean, we can do that on Christmas Day, but then just about how bad do you feel on Christmas Day at the end of the day when you're like, oh my gosh, the food coma is real right now.
How did you burn all this stuff?
Oh, I probably didn't. Doesn't matter though, and that's the thing. It is what it is, and I probably didn't burn it all off. But yeah.
Yeah, but however, you had another video that challenged to burn 5,000 calories a day.
Yes, yeah. So this was just before I started working at F45. So I work at F45 in Stratford, teaching as a trainer, personal trainer as well. So I was invited to their studios in Stratford just to take part in a couple of classes. So I thought, rather than just do one class, I'm going to try and see how many classes I could do in a day. And I think I'd done about 6 or 7 classes in one day. So they're 45-minute hit sessions. I'd done about 4 back-to-back, and then I'd done 2 and then another couple in the evening. Yeah, and I think I burned way over 5,000 calories in one day. But it was difficult. It was tough. So I didn't aim to burn that many, but it just kind of happened. So I suppose it kind of outweighed some of the 10,000 calories I ate to an extent, but not really.
To an extent, yeah. I mean, burning 5,000 calories, it's, I'm working out a lot. I've never done it in my life. So, I mean, kudos to you. Like, even if you reach 4,000, for me, it's like a lot of sweat, a lot of blood and sweat.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about, calories and food. I really wanted to, ask you about one video that you made about your eating disorder that you had in the past, and how you deal with that, how you overcome it, because I think it's really, really interesting. Find out people how they overcome this anxiety.
Yes. So this was again back when I was taking part in Miss Universe, and I was extremely slim, extremely slim. And I remember all of my friends and family would say to me, "You're so skinny, you're losing so much weight." But I thought I looked great. I could see my abs. I was lean. I thought I looked amazing. And at the time, I was severely under eating. I was probably eating about 700 to 800 calories a day. I was overtraining. This was before I had taken part in any of my personal training courses, and I was a PT myself, so I knew nothing. And actually, it was just through social media, through what I was looking, and people doing all this high intensity training. And it was the time when there was cauliflower rice pizza, and there was healthy eating was an all-time high, but there was no balance. Everything was low carb and low fat and keto this and skinny this and skinny that. And I really took it upon myself to lose as much weight as I could to get in the best shape, but I ended up in hospital because of it, because I was so ill. I was so underweight. And I remember, so it was in 2015, and they said to me that if I don't start putting on weight and I don't start basically sorting myself out, then I'm going to be on the verge of having anorexia and I'm going to be severely ill. So I came out of hospital. I took it upon myself just to start learning about food and nutrition, about training. So I done my personal training course just purely to learn, nothing more than that. I then started sharing my story on Instagram about what I was doing and the foods I was eating. And I suppose at the time it was difficult because, again, coming from a very a, a family where food has been an integral part of my childhood growing up. My family and my dad, and I didn't want to eat any of his food because I was scared. I didn't know what there was in it. So I really secluded myself from my family and my friends, especially going out socially. Found that really difficult because I was scared of eating anything going out. So I suppose it took me at least 3 years for me to really work on myself and find that self-love and self-worth. And no, I may not be 100% better now. As I like to say, it takes years and years for people to recover from an eating disorder, and some people never recover fully recover. And you may always have that 5% kind of battle with yourself of your devil that you have inside you, and we all have a voice in our heads that maybe doesn't work to our greatest capabilities, and for me that was mine. So for me it was just finding my self-worth, learning to love myself, surrounding myself with the right people who are bringing me up rather than trying to push me back down. And it's been hard. It has been extremely hard, but I think I'm finally at a place now where I'm completely comfortable within myself and my body and my mental state and my mind. So that's another reason why now I want to help so many people, especially the younger generation, as much as I can, because where they are, they're like little sponges growing up, and everything on social media now, no one kind of knows who to look to, where to turn to, and who to listen to. So for me, it is creating that safe space and giving the younger generation that voice to be heard. So yeah, eating disorders, I mean, I'm no specialist, I'm no psychologist to be able to help people in that extent, but yeah, it's something that I struggled with a lot, and it really affected my mental health and probably even my family's as well.
Yeah, I think Victoria, you may be not, as you say, a psychologist or something, but little girls or people hearing about how other people they overcome, not overcome completely, but you've been when you were a little kid, as you say, you've been, really, really um, almost skinny completely with only 700, 800 calories a day, and people and girls hearing your stories, how you actually cannot deal with that. I think that people want to hear stories, and as you say, uh, through self-love and surrounding with people that they look after you and take care of you, and could be one of the main reasons to start someone. So what would you say to to say to a little girl to deal with the with the eating disorder?
So I think, as only really through coming from experience,
Mm-hmm,
I would always recommend people to firstly find their triggers. So work out exactly what's causing you to have these negative associations with food. So it always derives from something, and whether that's a person, an individual, an experience you're going through. A lot of the time nowadays, it's actually social media and the people that we have around ourselves. So I've always said to anyone that if you are on social media and you're scrolling through Instagram and someone pops up that you follow, and you look at them and you say to yourself, I wish I had their figure, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, you need to unfollow that person, because you are not in the right mindset to be looking at these people, no matter how big they are, no matter how many followers they have. I say to some of my followers, if you ever looked at me in a negative way and it was affecting your mindset because you're comparing me to you, then you need to unfollow me. So one of the biggest tips is looking at the people that you have around you, who makes you feel good and who doesn't. And the people that don't make you feel good, realize that it's okay to, I would say, cut them out of your life, but that may be a little harsh, but it's okay to step away from people that are not filling up your cup, that are not helping you become your best self. And especially on a day like today, which is International Women's Day, it's us as women, we compare ourselves to other women, and we don't necessarily compare ourselves to the men. We compare ourselves to other women, and rather than using those women for inspiration and motivation, we start comparing ourselves to them because we want to be like them. And how is she successful and I'm not that successful? How does she have that body and I don't have that body? She's got the perfect relationship and I don't. And rather than saying, oh, she is a successful businesswoman, I know that I can be a successful businesswoman as well, we end up comparing ourselves, which then ultimately create more limiting beliefs and then stops you from achieving what you want to achieve, like I mentioned at the beginning. So I think my top tip is just look at who you're surrounding yourself with.
I mean, Victoria, I've heard people talk about and give advices to other people through the experience. But right now, I heard one of the most. I can say wow, and thank you, Victoria, because I think you say even for yourself that if someone follow me and I'm like a quote unquote bad example, then you should follow me. So I think that's a really good thing to come out, and girls and boys hear that, because I totally agree with you. We have some people that we have like a star for us, and we just try to match them by eating less or wherever else. But yeah, thank you, Victoria, for that. It was really good message. So
You're
yeah,
welcome.
yeah. So when you were back at that period of time, you think you were influencing, the biggest influence was the social media or the modeling that you were involving, that you were going through the anxiety disorder,
Um,
yeah.
Probably the modelling, because my modelling came before social media. So I was a model, I was in that industry before we really had social media. So we had Facebook, and obviously I don't know if you remember Bebo and MySpace, but that was more kind of community building and just speaking with friends rather than speaking to the wider demographic. And it wasn't until Instagram was launched that you could start hitting a wider demographic of people. But even with Instagram at the beginning, it was very different to how it was now. When I started my page, it was, you posted everything and anything about your dog, to the cup of tea you were having, to the rubbish cake you've just made, and your dinner, that the picture quality was awful. You just quickly take a snap and then post it straight away. There was no thought behind it, but that's why it was called Instagram, because it was instant. It was your story instantly. And now it's very different, and you have to think about your content and what value are you going to put across, and what is your impact and what is your message. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming, and we lose our message in it. We lose our why. We lose the reason why we started that platform. So I coach a lot of people grow their social medias now organically, and the first thing I always ask them is, what is your why? Why did you create that page? Who do you want to target? Who is your target audience? Who is your demographic? And this isn't coming from a business perspective of that you're selling products. This is literally coming from a place of, what type of people do you want to have on your page? What if you are, I don't know, a mum with two very young children and you just want to share your family life, then your why is because you are so passionate about your children and you love your children that you want to share your experience and your memories with other people who are also in that demographic, so other mums, other family members. And if ultimately that helps you then work with brands in the future, if you grow your following and then you can work with brands about Johnson Baby for Kids or children's food, etc., then great. But ultimately, any platform that we are on is all comes down to that first thing of, what message do you have for the world? Because if you don't have a message and you don't have anything that you really want to say, you're going to find it really hard to sustain something, because you're going to end up not knowing what to say, if that makes sense.
So, because my next question was, you know, what someone has to do, so to grow the social media or the personal brand originally, organically. So that actually is, as you said, to find the why.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've recently actually brought out an ebook, a guide, which is called The Social Secret. So anyone that's listening to this podcast, if you just find me on Instagram, victoria.winterford, and DM me the word social, I'll be able to get that over to you. But ultimately, we go through kind of the top tips and tricks on how to grow within. I mean, my expertise is within Instagram, but obviously you can repurpose your content across all different platforms: TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. But I'm rubbish with those. I'm not gonna lie. I stick to Instagram because I know it, and then I have Clubhouse. I try and get on LinkedIn more. I don't. I should do, but I don't. And same with Facebook. But again, I know where my expertise is at the moment. So I always say number one is know your why, know your message, like I just said. Number two is knowing your target audience. Again, who do you want to connect with? And then it's actually connecting with them. So we always expect everyone to come to us. We always expect our audience to find us. And we forget there are 7 billion people across all our platforms that are being used. So your target audience are not necessarily just going to find you now because it's so saturated out there. So you have to be proactive and find your audience. So that means using the right hashtags, searching those hashtags, finding your client, finding your consumer, engaging with them, and then ultimately driving them back to your page. And when they come back to your page then needs to be filled with super impactful, engaging content. So our attention span on social media now is, I think, 6 seconds, which is pretty scary. And by that I mean that if you don't make an impact within the first 6 seconds, someone's just going to scroll past you and go on to another post. So whether that's using Reels, which is really effective right now on Instagram, and it's probably the only way you can really go viral on Instagram is by utilizing the Reels. And Reels is just a short form content for video right now on Instagram. It's very much similar to TikTok, so it's a bit of a competitor for TikTok, which is why they're prioritizing Reels. But you want to be making an impact on those videos. You want to be either sharing some tips, sharing something of value. So you want people to be either sharing your content or saving your content, and that is how you're going to grow. But there are so many different things I could go into with how to grow on social media, but it always comes back to being authentically you. Being authentically you is a term that is thrown about left, right and centre at the moment, but it's so true, because when people fall in love with you, they fall in love with their brand. So by sharing your story, your experiences, where you've come from and what you do, that means that people then gonna fall in love with you, and then they, like I said, they fall in love with your brand. And I've always said that I would rather have 1,000 true fans than 100,000 followers. 1,000 true people who, no matter what product you bring out, no matter what service, they will back you and support you 100%.
Okay, cool. I mean, I can see that there's a lot of tricks out there and tips for someone to grow their brand. But I think because last year when I was start doing my coach business and I opened my first Instagram account, it took you a lot of time from your day. Because as you say, you have to find the right hashtags. You have to look. It just I think it's a bit challenging. To grow. I don't think it's really easy. I think easy, but mean easy. You just have to actually put some hours on that thing of your day.
Yeah, you do. You have to be consistent, but
Yeah.
it's with anything in life. You have to be consistent, and if you can't be consistent and it's not something that you find that is sustainable for you, then it's not the right platform for you. And I say that if people really... we want to challenge ourselves in life, which is amazing, but sometimes we also look at things in a sense that you create that limiting belief that I'm not going to be able to do it because I can't sustain it, and it's too much work, it's too many hours that go behind it. But then you wish you had done it in the future. And that was one thing with Clubhouse. I didn't want it to slip through my fingers, because I saw that it was going to be such a big platform and it was going to blow up. But I always say that with any platform you go on anything you do in life, whether that's a diet, whether that's starting a new nutritional program, whether that's joining a new company, a new job role, a new venture, if you cannot sustain that, or even like a morning habit, if you was to look at that habit and think, can I do this for the next 20 to 30 years and enjoy it, then it's not worth doing, because anything we do in life, we need to be enjoying it. If you're currently in a job role that you wake up every day and it's a chore to go to work and you don't enjoy it and it drains you and it makes you feel a way that you don't have any satisfaction in your life, and it's taken away maybe your family life and your social life, that is not the right role for you. And I'm not saying right now that everyone needs to be going and quitting their jobs, but ultimately that doesn't mean that you can't be working on a side hustle to then be able to quit that job that you hate. And that's where the hours may have to come in, and that's where maybe you may have to work a little bit longer. But then for the long run, within the next few years, you'll be able to wake up in the morning and think, I love what I do. I absolutely love it. I get satisfaction from my day. I know that I'm helping other people. And that's how I feel right now. And people say to me, how can you wake up so early every morning and you have so much energy and you love what you do? And it's just because of that. It's because I love what I do. So I'm for me, getting up early is easy. I might still be tired, and I'm not saying sometimes physiologically it's not hard, but psychologically I love it. So for me, it's easy. So it's finding that thing in life and those aspects of your day that you can do, whether that is on Instagram, whether that's TikTok, that you can do every single day for the next 40, 50 years, and it just comes as a habit because it's easy and you love it.
I can see that the clubhouse and the social media right now, it's really, really, really big part of our life. But in your life, let's say, there's no social media, there's no clubhouse, there's no Instagram. What will you think you will do right now?
So if there was
Hypothetically.
nothing, I'd be working with children in schools. So I'd be going to schools. Obviously, I know schools are back opening, so this is something that I'd like to do regardless of social media, etc. But I'd be working in schools, kind of giving children talks. I'm also going into life coaching now, so I'm going to be doing a course very soon on that, just to have an accreditation behind it. So one of my goals is to be like to be a teen coach, and like I mentioned before earlier on about giving the younger generation that sense of direction, giving them a voice to be heard and also a voice to listen to. So for me, going into coaching is something that I will be doing regardless of whether social media is there and then. So I suppose without social media, that's probably where my main focus would be.
Good, good, good. Because you say about coaching, because I like earlier a lot of stuff that you say about, even the eating disorder and about, the tips for the social media. And you say one important thing, what's your why? And it's really, really important for the people to find out their why, because a lot of people, they do something and they don't know why. So for me, you start with a really, really important question to ask someone, what's your why? What's your reason doing it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Uh, I think it will be really good life coach. I'm sure about it. No doubt.
Thank you
I'm
so
sure.
much. That
I'm
means a
sure.
lot.
I'm sure. So, what does success looks like to you?
Oh, I get asked this question all the time. It's one of my favourite questions. I think everyone get asked this question. What does success mean to me? I'm going to use the word success in my answer, but success for me is being successful in something you love doing. Regardless of what that is, being able to wake up every single day, being content, being happy, and feeling like you are free, because success to everyone is different, and success cannot be measured by the amount of, for some people it's a measure of money, for some people it's a measure of freedom and time, but for me it's that measure of, if I can wake up every day, know that I helped one more person, that is for me the ultimate win and success. And no matter what you decide to do in life, whether that is being the CEO of a multi 8-figure business, or whether that is just being a solopreneur that is creating sustainable handmade tea towels for a non-profit organisation. That's success. You may not be earning 9 figures, but if you know that you can go to sleep happy and content, that is success.
Good. Totally agree with you. 100%. How are you dealing with failures in life?
With
Failures.
failures is a tricky one because every day could amount to a failure.
I mean, you have some goals and you fail to reach those goals. How you deal
Of
with that?
course. So what doesn't kill us will always make us stronger. And I
Yeah.
think if we fail in life, it doesn't mean that you have failed in life. You might fail at certain aspects, but that just means that that wasn't meant for you, and you learn and you grow and you pick yourself back up, because if you don't learn to pick yourself back up, then you end up just staying down. And it's getting up, it's dusting yourself off, and it's learning from those mistakes. Okay, I may have failed on that, doesn't mean I can't try again, doesn't mean I can't come at it from a different direction or a different aspect. And maybe that just means that you weren't ready at that point in your life, at that point in time. Maybe you wasn't ready to take on that venture, that challenge. So it's, rather than looking at things in a negative way and thinking what could I have done differently, and it's taking that and thinking, okay, I failed at that for a reason. What can I learn from that? And what is that trying to teach me? And once you look at it in a positive aspect of how your failures are teaching you, then I think you then turn your failures into a win.
Good. 100% agree. What are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? Wow. Do you know what? I very rarely speak highly of myself. I'm not used to it, if I'm honest. So when people say, what are you most proud of? I'm like, oh, nothing. Like, I don't really know. I'm not really proud of anything. But of course, I'm proud of who I am today. I'm proud of overcoming the challenges that I've had in life. And I suppose I'm most proud of rewiring my mindset. I'm most proud that I can sit here today on this stage and on your podcast and think I am so happy and content with where I am in life. I have all the right people around me. I have the right support network around me. I wake up every day happy. I'm obviously, we all have bad days. Of course, that's normal. I'm not saying that every day I'm at a high vibration. Sometimes I'm not, and that's completely normal. But I'm just most proud that I've been able to retrain my brain, rewire my mindset, and just I'm able to work at my highest capability and be happy with anything that I achieve.
No, you talk about rewiring and all this stuff that you do. I imagine, I'm sorry, I assume that spirituality somehow helped you a lot.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So spirituality for me has been huge. Every mornings I do my manifestation, my gratitude, my affirmations. Spirituality and learning to look within yourself is extremely important. And I love meditating. I meditate every day, but meditation for everyone is very different. So meditation doesn't have to be sitting there cross-legged with your eyes closed or lying down and trying to actively meditate. Meditation can come in the form of running, walking, baking, dancing. Meditation is just a form of being able to listen to your thoughts, being able to take a step out of the current world, be present within yourself, listen to your thoughts, assess your thoughts. And that is where meditation comes from. That's where the highest levels of creativity come from, because you're not thinking of anyone else, of anything else. You're just thinking of you and how you feel and what thoughts are coming in and how you can heal yourself, heal your mind, heal your body, and really look towards your inner self critic, your ego. And spirituality for me has been a massive role in creating that positive mindset.
So would you say that all your, manifestations somehow that you were visualizing or imagining yourself, somehow they've been, true, it be happen in your life?
Not every manifestation, no, but when you start manifesting things into your life and you start seeing it, then you're able to manifest more, and it all starts with being grateful. So if you're not grateful for what you have, you will never be able to manifest what you want. So it all stems from gratitude, and gratitude for me is the building foundations of anything. So being grateful for every single day. If you want more money, you need to be grateful for the money that you have. If you want to manifest a new car, you need to be grateful for the car that you already have. If you want to manifest the perfect relationship, you need to be grateful for the relationships you have around you right now. So it all stems from gratitude. Once you start being grateful for what you have and you look at life in that positive way and you start putting out that positive energy, that energy will come back to you.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Do you trust anyone with your life?
Probably just my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Just my parents. Other than that, no.
Okay. Okay. Do you believe in true love?
Yes, I do. I do believe in true love. Yeah, I think that everyone has a soulmate or a twin flame, um, and your person, your soulmate, is out there. And we always say, "Oh, when are they going to come? When are we going to find them?" But they are there, and you have to trust the process. And it all comes from knowing your worth. As soon as you know your worth and you love yourself, as cringe as it may seem, you will not find someone if you are not the best version of yourself. So once you become the best version of yourself, then that person will come to you. So it's all about working on yourself first, and then realizing that everything else will just fall into place.
Cool. Cool. Everything will fall in place. What do you think your worst trait is?
Stubbornness. 100%. Ultimately,
Okay.
that is my worst trait. Good in some ways, but yeah, ultimately being stubborn is definitely my worst trait, because I just won't back down. Never, ever.
Well, sometimes it's really good as well. So yeah, let's say that it's. But we have it. We Greek people, we have that. It's yeah, we're really stubborn. We're really stubborn.
Yeah.
What's the most memorable lesson you learned from your parents?
The most memorable lesson is to keep on knocking, to keep on trying. So one of my favorite quotes is, if opportunity doesn't knock, then build a door.
Mm.
So if you don't hear back from someone, ring them, try again, keep emailing, because if you keep pestering someone, keep pushing their buttons, they're going to reply to you. So my parents just taught me to, basically what I mean by that is just to keep going, keep working towards that thing you want, and don't let anyone stop you. Don't take no for an answer. Just keep going, and if someone says no to you, then that's not meant for you. Don't take that as a failure again. Take that as a win and move on.
Good, totally agree. How's how you find the relationships nowadays? I think that it's really, I mean, especially now with the lockdown, a lot of couples, from my experience, what I've seen, either they're breaking up or then they have a babies. So I don't know how you see the relationships nowadays, if they change compared to the past, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm seeing the same with friends, etc. They're either breaking up or having children, etc. But I think with relationships nowadays, people always want something better. So people are not necessarily always content with what they have, because they think that the grass is greener on the other side. And like you said, we're not grateful for what we have in front of us, and we're always looking for something else, when realistically you need to work on yourself first before you find validation from anyone else. You need to find validation within yourself. So I think that's a lot of relationships fail, because one, there's a lack of communication, and two, we're looking for someone else to validate parts of our life that actually we should be able to validate ourselves with.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I'm gonna make a question that is, I mean, it's really general, but since you're a young woman, and I'm sure you, especially after you become really famous, a lot of, especially men, can knock your door and stuff. So, what a woman really wants?
Support.
Yeah. I mean,
Someone's
it's
support.
always a question that, I mean, it's really general, but, like in a really general kind of discussion right now, what do you think in your opinion that a woman really wants? Like, like you want like physically, I don't know, you want like the mentality, you want, I don't know.
Just like I said, someone to support you no matter what. I think is ultimately what women want. It's not necessarily obviously someone to the mental aspects of someone being able to make you laugh and align with you spiritually and morally as well. But for someone to be able to support you in any endeavor you go into, any venture, and just be there for you no matter what, that is ultimately what a woman wants.
Okay, okay, I see. See, I think I think the same thing from a woman to a man as well. Supporting and being there next to each other is really 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 important. Would you rather be crazy rich or deep in love?
Deep in love.
Deep in love, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Um, what's the nicest thing you ever done for someone?
What's the nicest thing I've ever done for someone? Oh gosh, I don't know. You put me on the spot now. The nicest thing that I've ever done for someone. I wouldn't say I've done anything like hugely big. I like to do something for someone else every day. Like even for example, today I went to food shopping and someone didn't have any money to get a trolley, so I'll just give them £1 to get a trolley. If I go to a coffee shop, I might pay for someone's coffee that's behind me. Just I think if you can make someone else happy every day, then that makes you happy. So I wouldn't say I've done anything like huge and extravagant for people, but I try and do something at least every day for someone else.
Good, good. And you know very well that thing lifts you up as well. In the same time,
Yeah,
it lifts you up,
100%.
makes you feel good. So, what's the ideal man for you?
The ideal man again.
I mean, except of the support. I mean, there should be some other traits as well.
I mean, basically, someone who's a unicorn, someone who's who's everything. So, someone that can make me laugh, someone that can also challenge me. I think that's really important. Someone that can challenge you in a sense that it doesn't feel like a criticism. It's just them trying to help you because that's coming from their heart. Someone who has a personality, someone who is also very independent themselves and they know what they want in life, but they also want you to be independent. They want to help you with your own ventures and your own goals in your life. And again, someone who will support you through everything and someone who wants to grow with you, not just grow above you, that actively wants to grow with you.
Okay, guys, make note. uh, who is your hero and what qualities makes them your choice?
My hero was actually my granddad. So my granddad was a very, very special man in my life. I absolutely worship the ground he walked on. He ultimately provided. It's a bit hard to talk about. He provided everything that I think a man should be, in a sense that he loved my nan unconditionally. He actively actually saved her life as well a few years ago. He sang. He was amazing. He just loved every single person around him. He was an ambulance man as well, so his main role was to help people, and that's all he ever wanted to do was help people. But he was a very, very special person. And so I think my whole family, all of my family are my role models. They're everything to me, and I think that family will always be everything to me. And I'm very grateful to have such a amazing support network of my family around me.
Yeah, I think it's really important when you have family who loves you and supports you. It's really 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 important. What makes you most uncomfortable?
Talking talking about myself.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, absolutely talking about myself. I hate it. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. I don't like being vulnerable, but I know that by being vulnerable, it helps other people. So I be as vulnerable as I can be. But yeah, I don't like it, but I do it because I know that if I'm helping someone else, then that's all that matters. So yeah.
I think that's why you have to go back to YouTube videos, because in the end of the day, as you say, vulnerability somehow, help other people who've been through the same. So I think that, I know from the morning early, you're dealing with the group of the room that you have with the other, people and from the group in 6:30 that you do. Yeah. So, but I think you just slowly go back to YouTube. I think that whenever you have time, it could be really, really work. Either with recipes or,
No, I agree.
Have you ever broke someone's heart?
Yes. Yeah, I have. I think only once. No, twice maybe. Once properly, but yeah, not something that I done for out of the badness of my heart. But yeah, I think everyone's probably broke.
Where do you see the world
saturated with opinions in 5 years' time?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go straight to my last question, which is, what is one thing that you want to accomplish in 2021?
In 2021, I actually want to have my own podcast.
Okay.
That's what I want to accomplish, is having my own podcast. But yeah, so that's probably the one thing that I'm probably going to be working on hugely, and to become a accredited life coach.
Well, I'm sure this is not going to be a big deal for you. I think you're going to make it. So yeah. So guys, just go check her website, victoriawinterford.com, where she has some really delicious and healthy recipes, along with the 8-week training plan, right?
Yeah.
Called SOC. Yeah. So yeah, because I've seen some really interesting recipes there. It's
amazing. Yeah. So if you go to www.victoriawinterford.com, you'll find my 8-week online training guide, all of my recipe books, and also if you go to the socialsecret.co.uk, you'll find my new ebook and guide on how to grow organically on social media, or ultimately just direct message me on Instagram. My DMs are always open for people. So I'm always more than happy to help anyone. So just pop me a message. I reply to absolutely everyone as well.
Brilliant. Victoria, thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It was a pleasure as well. I think that we touched some really interesting things, especially about your childhood experience with your eating disorder, but obviously about some tricks that you gave to people, and obviously if some people want some further tips about social media, Instagram, and even Clubhouse, please give her a follow, and then I'm sure that in the future when you're gonna have your podcast, I'm sure it's gonna be like even more getting the experience and the stuff you want to say out there to the people and help them.
Yes, 100%, and I'm really grateful for you having me on here today. Thank you
Victoria,
so much.
Victoria, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, have a lovely day.
You too.
And,
you too.
See you very soon. Thank
you too. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.